Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Living the Life, and a very warm welcome because we are still in the middle of a heat wave and it's very sunny here in London, so that's what I mean, warm welcome, mashallah. But today we have some fantastic guests lined up for you and we have some stories as usual from around the world. So let's introduce our guests in the green room. We have here with us today Qazi Shafiqur Rahman, CEO of Furness Airways and Suna Musk, and we have Fazana Rahman, owner of Desi Dolls Company, and Meenal and Ankita from DesiOutsiders.com. Assalamu alaikum. But now, before we start and before we talk to our lovely guests, we are going around the world and it's time for our first story of the day. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Now we have our next guest of the evening and I'm joined here by Meenal and Ankita. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Now, Meenal, you are from, now it's the company, now podcast that you have is called Desi Outsiders and it seems to be doing rather well. Tell me, how did it all begin?
So I'm a medical student, and in my fourth year of my medical studies, I was a bit bored, and I wanted
How is that possible?
And I wanted to do something with my time, something that was beneficial, not just to me, but even to my peers as well.
Yes.
And I realized that one of my biggest struggles just growing up as a Desi, or as an Indian girl in Europe, was that...
Just let me know, without Desi, because I've only just recently come across this word. So for our viewers at home as well, what does Desi actually mean? Because we have Desi dolls as well. Yeah. So what is this Desi word?
Well, Desi is just a term that is an umbrella for our South Asian community. Whether you're from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh, this is the term that we use.
Okay.
So I felt like I sort of struggled to be a Desi in our generation where we're all moving on and living in Europe as well. And especially having a lot of conversations with my family and my parents that, you know, the things that we didn't agree on, and I wanted to find a way for us to be harmonious in some way or another. And then I realized that I wasn't the only one feeling this way.
Yes.
And I thought, why not start a website where writers can come together, share their ideas, and perhaps come to a better conclusion on how we can actually live harmoniously together with all our new ideas. And I came across Ankita's blog, and I realized that she's an amazing writer, and I wanted her to be part of my project. So from just thinking about a website, we started talking as friends, and a friendship blossomed from that.
So, yeah. So, Ankita, so what were you doing at the time then? What exactly were you writing about?
I was writing a personal blog at the time,
Yeah.
And I was trying to write daily because my background is in English literature.
Okay.
I love reading and writing, and I was teaching people how to write, so I decided, why not just try writing yourself? And that was what I was writing, and that's what Meenal came across.
Yeah.
And I was initially writing for feminismindia.com, which was her first venture, and we became friends, we started talking, and we sometimes would have conversations and we'd say, we should probably be recording these conversations because we feel inspired by these conversations. And that is what led to the idea of Desi Outsiders as a podcast.
So how did you actually go about even recording these calls? I mean, you didn't have a studio, I presume, did you?
No.
Was this done at home?
It's a funny story because I live in Prague, as I said, and I just have a small flat. So when we had the idea, we were really naive when it came to this. We were like,
poor.
And poor, yeah, very poor. And broke as students,
aren't they? You know,
so
we've all been there.
we just picked up our phones. We're like, hey, we can just record into this. We were just recording on Skype. I think it took, how long did the first episode take?
It took about 4 hours to just record, and I was sitting in my closet to record on my phone.
Was that so you could get the quiet
Yeah, just
surroundings?
because it was a ground floor apartment, there were cars passing by, and I was getting all of the sound into the audio. So I sat in my closet and I recorded the first episode, and it was just a disaster.
Yeah, because we tried to basically just glue things together, like, you know, like with Pritt stick, like just put it all together.
Stick and paste.
Yeah, that's all we did. And then we realized that it was terrible.
Oh, dear.
So we had to go back and invest in a little bit of equipment, and my husband, who's here in the studio, he helped with the editing, and I continued to sit in that closet for about 2 years. I just moved out. I still recorded from there for a long time, and Meenal continued to record from her tiny little
That's all we do. It all started from a small idea, and it's still there. I think that's the beauty about this thing, that, you know, it started from a small room with a
still
microphone.
organic,
And
yes.
we're still there, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Which is perhaps where I'm flying my papers away. Perhaps where all the success comes from then, isn't it? Because you don't have, as you said, a lot of space and perhaps, loads and loads of money being students to throw at it. So therefore you're interested in making it work, which is often the way. Is that right?
We have had to be very creative about the way we go about marketing our content because we don't have money to put into marketing. And I work in digital marketing by day as well. So we thought that one good way of getting guests on our show, one good way of getting our content out there would be by getting guests on our show because, we saw how a lot of people were relating to our stories.
Yes.
So clearly, we knew that they would be interested in other people's stories as well. But at the same time, we could tap into other markets.
Yes. So what guests have you had on your podcast?
Well, we've had some amazing guests. I don't know if you've heard about some of these people because they're from all over the world and all over India.
You had a Bollywood star.
Did we?
Well, you've had an actor, you've had a songwriter,
yes,
and also, I think, somebody from the Indian cricket team, or women's Indian cricket team.
So I think so. Just to rewind a little bit, it all just started off when I just said to Ankita, "Hey, let's just send an email out to Mom Boss of 3." So she's a vlogger, and I'm sure a lot of people who are tuning in today must have heard of Superwoman, and Lily saying her sister has her own vlog channel, and we're like, let's just email her, see what happens. And the next day she replied, she's like, yeah, I'll be on your show. And we went crazy.
She has a YouTube channel,
yeah, she does. She has a very successful YouTube channel.
And a podcast.
Yeah, awesome. So we went crazy. We're like, we can't believe she replied to us.
Yes.
And so we interviewed her, and she was quite impressed with us, really, because we spent so much time going into her background, and we didn't want it just to be like, hey, so what do you do? That's not what we want to ask. We want to really get to the nitty-gritty of stuff. And we realised that this could be our thing.
So you put yourself out there and asked some challenging questions.
Yeah.
Did they sort of back away from those questions sometimes?
We always send our guests a list of questions that they can expect from us, and we also tell them that if they're uncomfortable answering something, then they can tell us in advance, or if this is something they've not thought about, then maybe this is their chance to come and talk about these things.
Yeah.
But we always encourage them to tell their story. We tell them that this is your show, this is your story. You can take as much time as you want or as little as you want.
Right, yes.
So it's up to them, but we try to
And that must take time, mustn't it, to sort of a bit of forwarding and backwarding sort of...
Well, not just that, but I mean our research as well. We have to get to the 10th Google page of the person, to figure out what their life is about and their background. We also had Inquisitive, who's a London-based artist here as well, and he told us that he was really impressed with our interviewing style because as an artist he gets asked what's your favorite color?
Of course,
and we don't want to ask those questions, so we
skip that.
We get to the nitty-gritty of stuff.
Yeah.
And really make people think. That's what we want to do, through the interviews, that if we can spark a conversation, then we've done our job, really.
Yes. And what has been the response so far from listeners to the podcasts? What feedback are you getting?
Mostly positive.
She's a numbers lady.
Okay. Right. So the right person, Ankita.
It's mostly positive. Thankfully, a lot of people relate to our content and they get back to us saying that, this season has been amazing from the beginning because I'm a law student and I'm working on this project and this is what I could resonate with. But at the same time, we do get a little bit of hate mail every once in a while. Because if you put an
quite
idea...
thick skin to just ignore that, don't you?
But we do take that into consideration a lot because you need to pause for a second, understand where this person is coming from and take that feedback, take the good from it. Because if, at the end of the day, if it's made this person feel so much emotion to sit down and type an email to us, then there must be something to take away from it. So we try to be very positive about it.
Well, it means they've been listening, doesn't it? I mean, to sort of...
It started off we said at the very beginning, we started talking about very delicate subjects.
Yes.
About marriage, arranged marriage, love marriage, all these problems we face as a community. And then as we started developing our sort of brand and podcast, it started to resonate with more people. And then eventually we got into iTunes. We were, I think, number 3 on...
the new and noteworthy podcast on iTunes and on BMS Jukebox, we're number 3 right now, currently. We were 4, but we yesterday received an email saying we're number 3 now.
Yeah. So we started off in our closets. We're still in our closets.
But we're doing rather well in that brilliant closet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for talking to us this evening. And, I mean, you sound so intelligent, mashallah, and know exactly what you're doing, even if you are still in your closet. But you know what? That is fine, because you're obviously doing very well. Thank you very much for talking to us. But for now, we are going around the world again to our next video. Just before we go, how do people get in touch with? How do people listen to your podcast? What is the exact name of it?
You can find us on iTunes or any other podcast app. You can find us at Desi Outsiders. You just have to type our name and you'll be able to find us. And as for following us on social media, Meenal's the one who's...
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, basically every social media platform. Just type Desi Outsiders and you'll find us. And you can also follow our journey as we go through interviewing people, so...
Excellent. So, that's it for now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care, see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.